In recent years, healthcare has become an integral part of the business ecosystem in India. Startups today need a more customized approach and targeted promotion to have an impact on its economy. While health is a very noble profession and majorly contributes to humanity, the successful healthcare startups are making a valuable contribution to the national economy through different parts of the world. Their stories and inspiring role models on groundbreaking journeys are inspiring so many young aspirants and entrepreneurs who wish to start something in this healthcare domain. Leadership in this healthcare sector is spread across management, clinical, and so many workforces. We at VeriCircle are conducting the top healthcare startup series to show the change makers of the healthcare industry, and also to some new innovations and offerings that these new startups have brought into the industry. Hi, I'm Smita Kumar, and today our guest for the talk is Dr. Ruchi Saxena. Dr. Ruchi is the director of Carevotics since 2017. She has supported 40 local partners to enable ecosystem for ethical and responsible use of drones for sustainable development. She has designed and developed drones delivery dot drones de- sorry drones in development.com, a global crowdsourced advanced drone education platform offering advanced course in drones and also in development, sharing knowledge across 40 knowledge areas. So hi, Dr. Ruchi, welcome to MediCircle.
Thanks, Mita. Great to be here.
And we are also very excited to know more about Carevotics and how it is actually shaping in and helping the future of Indian healthcare system, especially drone deliveries have been very, very important after COVID, because there were a lot of places where the medical supplies and the emergency supplies were not at all possible. So being in this domain like drone deliveries, how has your experience been, and what breakthrough technologies you have brought in, especially in healthcare?
Thanks, Mita. Let me give you a perspective of who I am and where I come from. I come from Mumbai, and I have only seen the bright and chirpy Mumbai that we know about all throughout my childhood and my growing up here. It was so easy for us to find doctors within our 1 kilometer periphery and at least 3 or 4 hospitals in our 5 kilometer periphery, and medical stores were just next door. Then we never ever felt the pinch that is actually a truth and a reality for almost 80% of the world. It became evident to me, this entire gap of inaccessibility, when I was traveling in Nepal and even in many other places. But there, when I saw firsthand that people are actually carrying patients on their back and trekking down the mountains. And this is a very common scene. Also, I was on some certain projects where I come across a lot of cases where a new mother or a new child just lose the opportunity to live because they are very, very far away from the hospital or the ambulance or just a medical center. And this kind of became an eye-opener for me. And I'm like, this has to change somewhere. I am a doctor, so I had no idea what I'm talking about, but I knew that answer somewhere lies in an aerial delivery of medicines to the doorstep of people. And because I had no idea who these companies would be, where they're located, I started my search. I did come across international companies who were working on drone deliveries, who were like starting off. And I wrote to them, would you be interested in India and Nepal? And they were like, not yet. I'm like, okay, I think IITs might have an answer because I really believe in the engineers that we have in our country. And I started talking to each of them. Along the journey, I realized that it's not just going to be about drones. Drones I might get, but what do you do with drones? Because you need certain kind of drones. So even in the use case study, there is a lot to be discussed. If you imagine somebody in Uttarakhand needs a medicine and you have set up a drone port there, you want people to man it. Would you really expect people from Mumbai and Bangalore to be staying there year long and delivering those medicines? No. So you need localites who need to be trained and equipped with the knowledge and the know-how. So yes, it would be an ecosystem problem because on one hand, it would be the people who would man it. On the other hand, it would be the government who would have to approve a lot of flights and authorizations would have to be done and rules would have to be modified and changed and even reintroduced. On the other hand, it would be about technology. So as for my experience, what I come from is, I have closely worked with technologists throughout my career. We have worked on building healthcare portals and remote health monitoring devices, a lot of things. So I know that engineers need a lot of input from the ground, from the people who would be using the technology. And the user experience has to be brought into picture right at the design level. So this is again another aspect that you need to bring into the whole equation. For me, it was an ecosystem problem, not just a drone problem. I might get the best drones, if not today, then later. But it's also about where do you exactly fit each piece of the jigsaw puzzle so that it all becomes like one big picture. That's when I realized that I need to probably start like a whole business, not just observing and doing something about it, but giving it full time, because it would need that kind of time and energy and dedication from my side to even make it happen. I don't know what I would do in way back in 2017, but this was the vision that I had. At least let me move forward with the vision. Let's see what happens. So I founded Care Robotics. Care Robotics is care, aerial robotics, three words put together, and just made the care which had to be delivered using aerial robotics. We were very, very fortunate that we realized that drones also are very, very useful in disaster management, because around the same time Uttarakhand disaster and Kerala disasters happened. And that's where the thing was, because I was already in touch with at least 25 drone manufacturers and service providers within the country. I knew that somewhere if the drone could reach that place, something might happen. So we started creating a kind of group amongst ourselves of all the people who would start responding to disasters wherever they are. So the closest person goes first. And that's where we founded India Flying Labs. Flying Labs are a global network of organizations. We take care of India Flying Labs. And within India, we started having these partnerships in place of not just the manufacturers, but even service providers and NGOs and universities and even students and professionals who just want to help. And this became like a really great group going forward. Regulations came, regulations went, regulations changed. All those things are an ongoing process. But what remains steady is the desire to do. And that's the foundation of on which we build our other platforms. So Kerobotics triggered other offshoots, like what you mentioned was dronesindevelopment.com. This came because we had at least 2 rounds of a course that we call Advanced Course in Drones and Development, which ran for 30 days with 30 different speakers and 30 topics and 30 assignments. And this was like super hit. So we wanted to give it a dedicated platform. Going forward, keeping it rolling, we want to encourage more and more mentors to come on board and start teaching from their direct experience, give assignments that people can directly learn from and become better leaders in the future. So what we're encouraging is a futuristic leadership, not just making a drone for fun or making a drone for attack and defense, making a drone for photography. All that's great, but we want to bring in the aspect of social impact in this entire thing. And that's the reason we are working on that platform. We've announced international conference on drones and development for December 1st week. And we already have a very good response from around the world. And we're hoping that we bring everyone to India to showcase what they have. And we also send Indians to around the world to demonstrate what we actually have. We are making some really great drones in India, some great spare parts which are being made in India, and this talent has to be showcased. A lot of use cases which go under the carpet unheard because they don't have a platform. So far so good. We are building this platform. There are drone trials happening for medical deliveries in Telangana right now. Other states are lining up. Based on these trials, some policies would be made specifically for medical deliveries. Now, medical delivery aspect itself, it's a pretty late aspect in India because many other countries are already doing it day in and day out. We are still lagging behind, but I'm sure that the kind of country we are in, we would definitely catch up and even excel in this entire sector. And we are working on that. We're working with the partners to help them build the use cases and bring in the aspect of quality, the safety, the process excellence, all of that. And that's what we're doing.
Surely. Like there has been a lot of, innovations, especially in the drone industry. Like earlier, they were planned to, only deliver biologicals like serums and viral cultures. Then moving forward to vaccines. Then there are so many things. It can actually carry organs and other important vital things which can actually save life. So telecommunication drones are the new buzzword here in India, especially in the healthcare domain. And also India is opening up to new policies like the new drone policy, where for a minimum of nano drones like 250 grams, you don't need a license. So there are
You
a lot
don't need.
of other things which are actually opening up, and where people are knowing that yes, see, healthcare deliveries would be really important, and definitely considering the infra that drone can offer, which would be really good, and also the people who can be trained on them and how to use them and how to actually utilize this thing for the fullest, actually to save lives, would be really really great. So care robotics, like it had started in 2018 and you are standing now in 2021. So there has been a lot of challenges, especially because it's actually a new industry. Even India, I mean, we are opening up to drone policies. There are lot of suggestions and policy makings from the government of India also. So how were the challenges, especially which you faced during this journey, Dr. Ruchi, and also what kind of possible solutions you were able to answer them?
I think the biggest challenge within this industry is that we are a very narrow industry and we don't have much data to prove ourselves at what exactly we are doing and what we are up to. So investments is like a big block for us because it sounds buzzy, like it sounds great. Yeah, you're going to talk about drones and every incubator wants to incubate at least one drone startup. But when it comes to investments, investors are still a kind of hesitant, saying that we don't really know whether this industry would actually grow in the future, whether the regulations would be in or out. So there are a lot of question marks. Now let's see with the skies opening up, how would that change? But we're really hoping that. So this is a constant thing that I've seen, not just for my company, but for all the companies that we're supporting in our network. There is a lot of struggle because first there are not enough projects. So if you talk about medical deliveries, even medical deliveries, there is a lot of question even in the government that okay, fine, we can give you permissions, but do you really expect us to pay? So a lot of free work that's happening around in this, and that's not really nice, but that's the truth. So the government says that fine, we can just do the paperwork for you, but don't expect us to pay you for this because we're okay with the roadways and we're okay with the way things are happening. So they don't really want to take the risk of changing sometimes. They want to do it, but we don't know who would be funding it. There's not a direct funding coming in from the government side or from a philanthropy, which we have seen in Africa. So Africa attracts a lot of soft corners from many people. India, we are still hoping that somebody invests in these projects and we all get our bit.
So at the same time, many people might be talking about the negative impacts of drones also. There are a lot of negative impacts, that these environmental effects like threat to wildlife is there, even especially to birds is a key concern. So in such cases, uh, what kind of like, again, there has to be, because once drones are getting operated, it has not taken that scale yet, like in other developed countries. India is still opening up to drone systems, and they are still preferring the traditional modes of emergency deliveries. So in such cases, what I mean, is India very much ready to open up with this systems, and what kind of I mean, apart from the government work permissions, what kind of things you want to I mean imagine, or what kind of things you want to expect that would actually give a great start to drones? Because there are so many companies, and I've heard of so many companies who are actually working, especially they have started during post, I mean, in the time of COVID, they launched their systems and they actually are getting very good responses. But again, there are a lot of other challenges, as I just mentioned some of them. So any such challenge, what you actually thought apart from funding?
So I think there is a lot of myth around drones as well. For example, threat to wildlife. No, drones have been helping wildlife a lot. They've been helping the conservation efforts in so many places, not just for monitoring the forest, because if the forest is such a huge thing, it's difficult to monitor the poachers. It's difficult to even monitor the habitat. For example, if you have invasive species of certain plants, which you don't want in the forest. And these things have been done very well with the drones. Afforestation, like reforestation efforts, have also been taking place with seed dropping drones. Threat to birds, I would say birds are the threat to drones because we haven't come across any report that says that drones have been harming the birds. Rather, we need to protect our drones from eagles because eagles don't like drones and they like really destroy them. There is a lot of lack of awareness in the general public about what drones are and are not. But we don't need to be worrying about that. We would rather need to be worrying about negative elements who might misuse the drones. But there again, our government has gone way forward and said that let's do a trust-based regulation and just trust that everybody is good and give them the chance to fly, so that it's like, selling knives. You know what knives can do, you know what matchsticks can do, but you don't stop selling them. You don't put regulations around them. You just nab those people who make a misuse of this tool. Here we should just look at drones as tools and not look at what bad they can do. If they do, we will see something about it. And talking about the risk of crash, the risk of everything, airplane also has a huge risk of crash every time you fly, every time an airplane takes off. But we have learned to trust, we have learned to regulate, we have learned to streamline the processes within the aviation industry. And that's the reason we need professionalism even in the drone industry, because the standard that we maintain for aviation has to be transferred back to the unmanned aviation as well, because that's the difference. If you look at it as a toy and any random person can fly, then you would have random stuff happening everywhere. If you bring in a professional grade of knowledge and training and some basic methodologies of how do you even use this, then the threats go down drastically. It's again about giving a driving license to an 18-year-old child. End of the day, he's a child. He's just turned 18, but he's still just a child, but he drives and you allow him to drive. So that the risk of accidents, road traffic accidents are still there, but you still go forward. So we as an industry have to come together to build this awareness and sensitivity amongst the general public, so that the acceptance of the drones itself goes up. And there is a demand which comes in from the industries. There is a lot of B2B engagement which keeps happening. B2G is already happening at a good scale. A lot of government projects use drones at a scale. That's the reason you see a lot of companies which have scaled up very well in the last couple of years, because a lot of projects have poured in and a lot of money has been transferred out. So that's the reason you see that. But that's the reason I said, I mean, all we need is encouragement in form of project opportunities and funding. Rest of it, I think our youngsters are too good and they can do whatever.
Definitely. So thank you so much, Dr. Ruchi, for joining us for this Top Healthcare Startup Series at MediCircle. We wish you and Care Robotics all the best for all its future endeavors, and definitely hope that more drone deliveries are possible and it is contributing to the economic and social growth of India. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Smita.
For the series.